I'm gonna say something that you've probably heard me say a few thousand times. I've been busy, but this time is not like the others. I've been busy in a great way. Well, you know what? Let me just show you what I'm talking about. First, I made a video and a short about the Minecraft movie live event, and apparently, you guys liked it. So thank you for that. I also rebooted my Building with BluJay series in a 2-year-old world that I haven't touched in 2 years, and it's Super Mario themed. What's not to love? Go check it out. After this video, of course, I also made a review video about FreeCam, awesome tool that I use all the time, and so should you. I also made this tower. More on that later in the video. I decided I didn't like my iron farm entrance anymore, so I ripped it apart and rebuilt the whole thing. Also, I finished the iron farm. It's about time. Okay, so maybe that's not fully true. This room's not done yet. I gotta finish that, and still bad. Oh, and just in case that wasn't enough, I went ahead and started planning the rest of my base. Also, how come you guys never told me that torches exist? Over a year in this base that I've been working, and not a single torch on the ground. We've had creeper holes, we've had skeletons shooting me with arrows all the time. It's just been kind of like the Wild West here. And then I discovered torches. Now they're everywhere, and I kind of hate it. But if I'm gonna build this place up, it's gotta happen. Seriously, you should have told me sooner. So after about 2.5 months or so of working on the storage room without focusing on anything else, needless to say, I needed a little bit of a break. And don't worry, the reason you clicked on this video was for the storage room. We are gonna finish that today. So yeah, I've been a little bit busy shifting my focus a little bit. And when I say I've got some fun content planned for the channel, oh, just you wait. I know a lot of you have come here for the Bedrock guide, and that's gonna continue, but I hope you'll check out some of the other fun Minecraft things that I've got in store. So I might be in a little bit of a situation here. There are piglins everywhere. There was a phantom in here. There's parrots floating around. There's creepers. However, these guys are wearing my armor. Oh gosh, and I only see one of them. I don't even know where the other pieces of armor are. This is very bad. Oh, there they are. Oh, great. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I gotta be smart about this, because if I go crazy, all of these piglins are gonna come after me, and it's gonna be game over. So how do I do this intelligently? First, cobblestone. You're stuck. I can take you. That's easy. But, okay. No, go back. First, you. Give me my armor. Are you mad? You most certainly are not. You're a friendly piglin. Hello. Did that just despawn? Hi. I'm gonna need that. Ow! Oh, what a mess. I just wanted some quartz. That's all. Are we mostly cleared out? Oh, well, that was so much easier than I thought it was gonna be. Thank you for despawn distances. Come here, give me my stuff. Oh no, you got my sword. Goodbye. Give me my sword. Who's got my shovel? Nobody here. You can live. I don't need a gold sword. No, 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 no. Don't go in there. Oh yeah, it's time to turn this thing off. Whew, that was fun. No, 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 no. Bad. You know what I just thought of? I might not have lost my shovel after all. Hang on. Is it in here? It is in here. See? BluJay wins. And that's enough winning for now. These bulk storage silos are the first thing that I built in this room, and today I'm gonna rip it out. And let me actually be more specific. I'm gonna rip these ones out and rebuild them. These ones can stay, but need a little bit of revision work. Before I do any of that, I wanna give you a refresher, because most of this design is going to stay as is. But just in case you missed the first video on this, we're just gonna build it again and include those modifications, which include all of these materials and all of these materials. I have 16 already in place here, and I'm gonna build 8 more, so that's a total of 24 for me. And so I way over gathered materials for this because I calculated 24 when I actually already had most of these built. I love wasting time, don't you? Whoopsie. It's just the best. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. Not very different from that, but some major improvements to the last time I designed this. So let's get into the reason really quick why I'm redesigning this and why we're using this design that I came up with instead of the bulk storage that I had before. It all comes down to minecarts. Minecarts are fun. Minecarts are awesome. But if I'm being completely honest with you, after living with this storage system for a month and a half, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know that I would. I'm not going to rip any of this down. I'm going to keep the multi-item categorizers. They work fine. However, this is where the minecarts are going to end. They're going to dump into a hopper system and then go through hoppers to all of the bulk storage. And I think that's an acceptable compromise, especially after I spent weeks trying to figure out how to get minecarts to consistently go here without bumping into each other. It just got to be too much. It wasn't going to work. Ooh, I just realized as well, my new design potentially going to conflict with the minecart drop here. Can I deal with a smaller hallway? I think I can deal with the smaller hallway. I'm going to shift these forward. It shrank the hallway by about 4 blocks. I think I can live with that. The last time that I built these silos, you guys said, hey, BluJay, the hollow print's getting in the way of us being able to see what's going on. Can you turn that off? Well, yep, I'm going to keep it here for my own personal benefit, but I'll turn it off while I'm actually building, just so you guys can see what's going on. So starting right here, I'm going to put 2 chests to make 1 double chest. I'm going to rotate and do another one right here, and we're going to stack them like this until we have 5 high. And then directly next to the chests, I'm going to put some copper bulbs in a stack just like this, also 5 high. Next, I'm going to feed the hoppers into the chest. I'm going to put one right here directly into this chest and underneath this one, so that whenever items flow down into the storage system, they will make their way to the bottom chest before filling up the chests directly above. Then, if I take any items out of this bottom chest, everything will still filter back down, refilling this and leaving the top empty. That's going to be important for later. So then I'm going to do the same thing over here, go underneath this chest and to the side of this one to place another hopper, another hopper, another hopper, and last but not least, one more hopper. Make sure, again, it's facing into the side and not down. Next, I'm going to take an infrastructure block of my choice, which is going to be this cyan wool, and directly behind the bottom hopper, I'm going to place one comparator facing away from it to read the contents of the hopper. Then I'm going to place one piece of wool right here with a comparator facing away from this hopper, a piece of wool directly above this comparator, another comparator, wool right here, one more comparator there, wool right here, and then one final comparator right there. After the comparators are in place, I'm going to take an observer and face it directly into the side of this comparator to read when this detects a change in that hopper. It's going to pulse a signal into this block. I'm going to drop a hopper facing that direction right now. This will be important for later. Definitely don't put a block here. You're gonna want a hopper. Then I'm going to place one repeater facing into the copper block and leave that set to 1 tick of delay. So now whenever I put items in this chest, this light should come on to indicate that there are items flowing through this hopper into this chest, and whenever the hopper becomes empty, it's going to toggle that change again and shut off this light. I'm going to do basically the same thing with the rest of these comparators, but the one here and the one here in the middle, I'm going to have to treat a little differently. And what I mean by that is I'm going to have to put an observer facing into the comparator this direction instead of on the side of it, with a block here to receive that signal, and then a torch off the side of this block into a repeater set to 1 tick, and then a block into the side of this copper bulb, and it's going to turn it on by default. In order to fix that, just go ahead and break this torch and then replace it, and it should toggle off. And now, as long as you don't make any changes with that redstone, this one will operate the exact same way as the bottom one. Chest empty, light off, chest full, light on. In order to assign an item to the bulk storage silo, I need an automatic sorting system, which starts with a hopper here, then a hopper here, and then out of the side of this hopper, I'm going to make a T shape with some wool, just like this. Then I'll put a temporary block right here, 1 block here, 1 block here, and then break that temporary block, followed by 1 comparator right here, 3 redstone dust, 1 repeater in the gap right here facing that direction, leave it set to 1 tick, with 1 redstone torch on the other side of the block, and 1 hopper facing into that comparator. And then inside of this hopper, take 4 of any item of your choice and rename them to something like sub to BluJay and place them in the last 4 slots. And then let's say, for example, this is going to be bulk overflow for gray wool. This is going to trickle down to 41 items and then stop. The minimum requirement is 41 in order for this storage system to work. But now, anytime a gray wool crosses this hopper, it's going to drop it down into this silo. And nothing else will go in here. So everything from this point up until now is exactly the same as the previous design, and everything that follows after this is either a modification or something new to add some new functionality. So I'm going to start by going out the back right here, and you can see the hitbox of the redstone dust. I'm going to put a target block right there with a redstone torch right here. And on top of that redstone torch, I'm going to put one block of wool with one sticky piston on top and a redstone block directly attached to the front. Then I'm going to put one temporary block right here, one temporary hopper right here, followed by a permanent hopper. This one is temporary because I need to rotate it around to face back into this hopper. And then I'll go ahead and break that block. And now I'm going to put one piece of redstone dust in here, and it's going to disappear into this hopper and stay locked there until this hopper is released, and I can pass that one item back and forth. Next, I'm going to take 3 pieces of wool and line them up just like this so that we can read the item that's being passed back and forth in that hopper with a comparator right here, followed by 2 repeaters, both set to 1 tick. And then I'm going to read this repeater right here with an observer, and that observer is going to face into a copper block. And that is the indicator light for my storage silo, so that when items enter this particular silo, it will start blinking this light on and off, and it will disable the light when items have finished loading into here. So this is where things are going to get fun, because to this point, everything works exactly how it does on those. The only thing I changed was the position of the indicator light circuit, but I've been wondering, what am I going to do if this storage silo fills completely up with stone? And just to give you an idea, no, stop it. No, yeah, you just go over there and yell at the corner. You're fine. Look, stone, stone, stone. Stone, stone, so much stone. Well, this top row doesn't have any, but there's a lot of stone here. Enough that it's going to overfill this. So I'm going to add a shulker box loader. You know, I really feel like I should be an expert at storage at this point, but sometimes I feel like I don't know anything at all. And by that I mean this next section I had to redesign, meaning I already built what I planned to build and tested it and realized it didn't work. I don't know why I do this to myself. Hey, I've got actions and stuff turned on again. Don't I look great? Anyway, what I have now works beautifully, and I've tested it many times. And if you recall earlier, I had a hopper right here. That's where this comes into play. We're going to link a hopper up with this hopper so that shulker boxes can make their way into this chest up front. And for those shulker boxes to make their way to the front, I need to bring the hopper line back here so that there are 4 hoppers here, 3 hoppers here, and then another 3 hoppers out the back. So that this hopper right here is directly below that wool on the auto sorter. And I'm going to go ahead and place a temporary block right here, followed by a regular piston right here. And then I can break this temporary block. And then I'll place another temporary block out of the side of this piston right here, followed by 1 dispenser right there. Break that temporary block. And this is the basic mechanism of how this is going to work. This dispenser is going to dispense a shulker box and attach it to the bottom of this piston. And then items are going to load into it. And when it's full, this piston will push it down into this hopper line and over into this chest. So we've got the hopper line for the shulker box to go into storage, but we need the items to load into the shulker box. That's the next part of this build. I'm going to go up to the auto sorter up here where I've got this connecting hopper right here. I'm going to break that, and we'll bring a hopper line right back up here in just a second, but I'm going to put a temporary block right here and then 1 hopper facing into that block. Then I can break this block and bring this hopper line all the way back until it's even with this row of hoppers right here, and then bring this hopper line up and then run the hopper into the side of this hopper right here instead of down into this one. And so now anytime an item enters into this auto sorter, it's going to look at this hopper right here and say, can this hopper actually pull anything out of it and dump it into the chest? If not, because it's full, this hopper will push the item over into this hopper and down into our shulker loader. So it will never go into here unless this is completely full. In order to get this working properly, this is the circuit that you need. Right here on this second hopper, I'm going to put 2 pieces of wool. And then on top of each of these pieces of wool is going to be 1 comparator facing that direction toward the storage system, 1 piece of glass right here, and 1 target block right here. Then on top of this glass, I'm going to put 1 piece of redstone dust to connect up this comparator with that target block. And then from here, I'm going to put 1 temporary wool, and then 1 permanent wool, and then we'll break this one back out. Then on top of this wool facing away from the target block, 1 repeater set to 1 tick of delay, with one piece of wool out of the side of that repeater, and then one piece of glass right here. This one absolutely has to be glass because it bumps up onto the hopper line. That's this one right here, but on the next storage unit, and this is going to have redstone dust on top of it. So if this one gets powered, it's going to lock the hoppers. We definitely don't want that. So make sure this is glass, and we'll have redstone dust on both of these blocks. Then I'm going to make a little bit of a U shape right here with one comparator, one repeater set to 4 ticks, and then one repeater facing into the side of that repeater set to 1 tick. Then I'm going to put a couple of hoppers out of the side of the dispenser right here. We will link these up to a chest here in just a minute. We'll show you where that goes. But basically what this is going to do is it's going to read this hopper anytime a shulker box that's empty passes into it, and it's going to do a couple of things. I'll demonstrate all of that here in just a minute, but basically what this is going to do is tell this piston and dispenser whether or not there are any shulker boxes in here, whether or not things are ready to be loaded, and act accordingly. Again, that'll make much more sense when we demonstrate here in a minute, but I'll come right back to that. Next, I'm going to take an observer and put it onto the side of this repeater right here to read when that repeater makes a change. One temporary block followed by a permanent block, break the temporary block, and then bring it out one more, and then bend it back this direction and bring it out 4 more blocks so that it is even with that hopper right there. We'll jump down here and put one temporary block there, one permanent block there, break that block with a comparator on top of this one, facing that one right there, with another block out of the back of that comparator, which is going to read this shulker box as well. One block on top of this comparator, followed by redstone all the way around until it meets up with that piston. The last 2 bits of this circuit are super simple. One block here, one block there, another comparator facing into the side of that one that I just broke. That's not part of the thing, don't break it. Then a redstone torch right here, and a redstone torch off the side of this piston directly above the dispenser, and that should be just about everything. The last thing I need to do is take this hopper line right here and run it up to 1 block above that copper block right there, and run it directly over the top of that copper block, and then place 1 chest here and 1 chest here. And now this whole storage silo should be complete, I hope. I'm gonna test it because I want to show you how it works. This actually took me a little bit to figure out because I have multiple conditions that I need this particular shulker loader to meet. Now let's just start by going through it. So if I put an empty shulker box into that chest right here, it's going to go down into the system and it's going to dispense it and then immediately break it. That's totally fine, and I'll explain to you why that's totally fine here in a few minutes. If I put a couple of shulker boxes in, it will go in and dispense the first one, and then it will not break because it says, hey, there's a backup shulker box in here ready to go once this one is full. Tracking with me so far? Hopefully I can explain this simply. What happened when those shulker boxes passed through this hopper line is it sent a signal out right here and pulsed this observer to go around and pulse that piston really quick, which deactivates that torch and retracts the piston, reactivating the torch and activating the dispenser. So by the time that happens, the first shulker box is already in there, ready to be dispensed onto the piston here. Since there is a shulker box still in here, this comparator has sent another signal around to lock that repeater so it cannot change state again, and then it will not trigger this piston right here to break that shulker box until this is empty. So, for example, if I go to take this shulker box out, that piston will break. Again, that's fine. I have a good reason for why that's fine. I know it doesn't seem logical at this point, but bear with me. So there is a 2 shulker box rule, unless there are items waiting in this hopper line right here to be loaded into the shulker box. Let me show you why. I'm going to toss 1 shulker box into the hopper really quick, and you notice everything pulsed, but this shulker box didn't break because it's currently actively loading. That's why I've got the double comparators right here. This repeater, set to 4 ticks of delay, absolutely necessary, could not change state fast enough before this shulker box sent a signal through this comparator to lock that repeater, which means it's not going to double pulse this observer and double pulse that piston to break the only shulker box available in the system. So if there are no items in this hopper line and this shulker box is empty, it's going to break the shulker box and send it back to us. And here's why that's okay. If I have an empty shulker box in this chest, I know that one, I need to reload this system to have more shulker boxes ready to load. And I also know there's nothing waiting here to be loaded into the shulker boxes, so we don't have anything sitting in backup storage, not available to use. Another benefit of doing this with a locking repeater like this, fed through an observer, is the main reason I actually had to redesign this in the first place, and that's this hopper right here. If there were 9 shulker boxes in here and 5 shulker boxes in there, not a big deal. But then, the second a shulker box hits this one and stays there, it ended up locking the whole system up and breaking stuff, and I want to be able to throw as many shulker boxes in here as I can fit. Now, I can actually do that, and it's not a problem. As you can see, this is toggled on, and there are shulker boxes in this hopper, shulker boxes in this hopper. We got lots of shulker boxes and another angry Enderman. Dude, I just want to talk to the people. I know. You're fine. If we were to cycle through all of these boxes, let's say they all got loaded to the point where it was emptying out all of these shulker boxes. When the last shulker box left this hopper, it also was pulsing this piston and breaking multiple shulkers in a row, leaving shulkers with like 1 or 2 items in it, and it was just not working well at all. So now I don't have that problem, because when I remove this shulker box right here, this comparator goes off, but because this repeater is locked in the state that it's in, it doesn't really matter. It's as if this comparator was unaffected by anything this hopper was doing, because it's not going to send a signal out anywhere to the rest of the circuit. Again, took me a while to get here. Took some big brain thinking, but we got there in the end. I have 1 shulker box preloaded here with almost a full inventory, and I'm gonna put it right here on the piston just to show you what will happen when a shulker box is full. And when that shulker box hits maximum capacity, it is going to break, go into the hopper below, immediately dispense another shulker box to be loaded, and then I have a full shulker box of stone waiting right here for me to go and use in whatever area of the world I want to go build. It's absolutely amazing. This whole thing is completely automated. I don't have to have any buttons to press to make sure that shulkers can get loaded if this thing runs out. It just knows what to do. It is very, very smart storage. You could say it's bird brain storage, because I'm very smart, and I'm a bird. I'm a BluJay. Smart storage. Yay! What was not smart is having to do 24 of these. So I'm going to build the rest over here. I'm going to rip all of these out and rebuild them with the shulker box loader attachment. And thankfully, I don't need to rip those out. All I need to do is modify them and we're good to go. The reason I have to rip these out is because they're too close together in the back. There's more circuitry back here to consider, and I gotta move them forward where I've marked these out. It's gonna take a while. So instead of making you sit here watching me do this, let's head back out to the Tower of Trials while the other BluJay is in here building. We'll go do something fun. Recently, I've been thinking through some ways to make my videos and streams a little bit more fun and interactive, and so that's where the Tower of Trials has come into play. I've got 3 different things in here. This is called Armor Roulette, and it is a channel point redeem that people can get during live streams. If you want to know more about that, make sure to come hang out with me there. Same thing with this one right here, the bottoms up potion redeem. This is what we're looking at right here. This is the side quest station, and inside of this box are 9 side quests that I have created myself. I've got a couple community suggestions that I'm going to throw in here as well, and I'm looking for some more from you fine people. So if you have fun ideas for side quests, make sure to leave them in the comments below. So what is a side quest? You're about to find out. So I have to press this button right here to dispense a side quest, and then I have to pick it up and set it down, and then do whatever is in here. Bucket clutch. Okay, this would be great. This would be super easy for today. Here's what we got. Empty inventory of everything but a water bucket and enough blocks to build a pillar to world height limit. Attempt to survive a water bucket clutch. A bed is permitted to avoid having to travel back to the jump site. If successful, earn bragging rights. If unsuccessful, the elytra cannot be used for the rest of the stream or video, because we're not live right now. All right, go ahead. Pause the video, Who thinks BluJay's gonna survive this challenge? Will I get to use my elytra for the rest of the video or not? I'm gonna go ahead and set my spawn, make sure we're good, and then I gotta do everything it says. Empty the inventory, no rockets, so definitely no flight, absolutely no elytra or armor, and you know what? Let's just go right beside the tower here. It'll be a great view from above. Now, it did not specify in the instructions, so I'm going to make this rule for myself right now. With this water bucket clutch, I am not allowed to spam click the water bucket. I'm only allowed to press the button one time, and if I press it while I'm 50 feet in the air, well, that's that. I have no elytra for the rest of the video. We're gonna see how skilled BluJay is today, or you're gonna see a really great show. One or the other. Are we there yet? This is really tall. Oh, we're still going. Still going. You know you're really tall when you're above the clouds like this. Oh no, what did I do? Hello? We good? I broke something. Okay, here we are. I cannot build any higher than this. And it's a rainy day too. Hopefully that is not an indicator of how this is gonna go. The sky is full of tears. Hopefully, BluJay won't be full of tears either after this jump. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, water bucket clutch challenge. Oh, I have so much time to think. I don't like this. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Oh, BluJay is the winner. And that, my friends, is how you do a successful water bucket clutch. Welcome to the Tower of Trials. Oh, that was quite fun. I want to do it again, but not right now. What I want you guys to do is go ahead and leave comments of some more ideas for more side quests. Let me give you a few more examples. I'm not going to do them today, but in the next video, rest assured, I'm going to do another side quest. Okay, here are a couple examples of my favorite side quests, and this is what you can kind of use as a template for quick, short little things we can do for fun during these videos. This one is called Parrot Party. I did this one with my stream not that long ago. You can see I've got some parrots over here, and with the parrot party, I have 5 minutes to befriend 5 new parrots and get them together for a parrot party. What does every parrot party need? Music. Get all 5 parrots to dance in under 5 minutes to complete this challenge. If successful, earn bragging rights and a few new friends. If unsuccessful, play with no game audio for the next 30 minutes. So there's not really a benefit for me to completing these, but there definitely is a punishment if I don't. Here's another one. This one absolutely made me laugh. And there are no materials associated with this one. Some of them have them, some of them don't. This one is called Paw Patrol. When night falls, do not sleep. Have 3 dogs fight every mob you encounter. You cannot engage any mob except creepers, because dogs do not attack creepers. You may heal your dogs to keep them alive. If any of your dogs do not survive to sunrise, the challenge is over. If successful, earn barking rights and the trust of your best friends. If unsuccessful, feed every surviving dog a steak dinner. You have to eat a stack of rotten flesh. So I hope that gives you some ideas for some side quests to put in the comment section. I'm going to load these into the world, and I will give you credit. Your name will be forever in the world if you contribute a side quest that we put into the game. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Please, comment below. I need some more ideas. No? Oh, ho, ho! Did you see that? That spider didn't have a chance. Also, as soon as this video is over, we're done with storage for a long time. I'm gonna break this secret button out, and there will be no more secret button. Prowl won't be able to get in here without the password. It's gonna be great. And speaking of great, hey, look at all the work that I've done. While I did that 30-second bucket clutch, the other BluJay rebuilt the entire storage room. This is great. All of these silos now have shulker loaders, and I have 24 of them with room to expand. If I want to dig back farther this way, check it out. All of that empty space you see means there's a lot of wall there, or cave. Essentially, we're under that other mountain, so I've got plenty of space to expand. Should I want more storage silos? Not gonna be a problem. I've also got room that direction and that direction, but I think this is gonna be enough for now. Now here is the only thing left to do. I have a minecart here that made its way through, because apparently, do I not have gold ingots in the filter here? Oh, apparently I don't. If something makes it by the entire categorizer system, which if these categorizer systems start getting full, they absolutely will, the minecarts just can't stop there. I need to get them to the bulk storage units. I have a solution in mind for it, and it's very similar to this mechanism right here. I'm gonna drop the minecarts onto a double hopper unloader, which will then carry all of the items to the individual bulk storage silos. And then the minecart will get pushed out onto a return track similar to these and back to the cactus over there to break. I don't really have it designed yet, so I kind of need to do that on the fly. But if I had to guess, it's gonna look exactly like this. Yep. It's exactly the same. And that's not a bad thing. This works really well. So, minecart will drive up this track, drop onto this trapdoor, and down onto the double hopper right here, and empty items out. And when both of these hoppers are empty, the comparators will release the signal right here, which will drop this observer back into place and power this piston to punch the minecart forward, and then the minecart will recycle itself back into the system to be used again. I've also put in a hopper line right here with a double chest on top that I can bypass the minecart storage system if I really want to, and I want to send things directly to bulk. This essentially does the same thing, minus the minecarts looping all around, so it won't go into any of the multi-item categorizers, which I think is fine for some things. And this right here is a basic dropper elevator, and I believe this is Prowl's design. Thanks, Prowl. You're a pal. And once the items make their way up into the hopper line here, they will make their way all the way around the bulk storage silos, starting right here, cycling over to the left, and then looping back around on the right, and ending the storage silos right here with stone. But you can actually see that this hopper does not terminate right here. It continues on over to this section over here, which is the general overflow. And I've got some items in here already. Some of this is actually from failed tests with the minecart system. The storage silos work flawlessly. They are absolutely perfect. I would not change a single thing on them. And I did mention earlier in this video that the minecart portion of this storage system leaves a little bit to be desired. It does not work perfectly. I think that I've got it functioning now. There were some bugs to work out. There were some items sitting in the filter system that should not have been there, and they kind of broke a lot of the filters along the way. That has been resolved. The main issue with the minecarts is leaving the area while they're running. If you do that, the whole thing stops. And if there's a minecart right here and it's moving, it's just gonna stop here, and it's unlikely to start back up again. When you re-enter the area, it's just gonna sit there. And that's really bad if you have minecarts like sitting in the water here. They could really mess up these filters. So I have done one thing in this world that I have never done in the Bedrock guide before, mainly because a lot of people might not consider it to be vanilla, and here's what I'm going to say. I have added a ticking area to my storage room, and that is it. I've jumped into spectator mode, and you can see there's absolutely nothing else around my storage room. My gold farm is way over there. My iron farm is way over there. Everything else that I'm going to build in this base is going to be above ground and on that side of the world. So I do not feel like this is cheating in any way because it's not preloading any farms. It's not going to give me an unfair advantage. Nothing is going to be gained by this other than not breaking the storage system if I forget that there are minecarts still running and run out this door, because this is pretty much the chunk limit for the back of the room. If there's minecarts in the back there and I run out this door, it's done so. The whole thing's broken. The other reason why I consider this to be okay, and I'm going to use this as an excuse, Java Edition people have spawn chunks by default. Spawn chunks are always loaded. They never go unloaded as long as the world is live. This is basically the Bedrock Edition version of spawn chunks. You just have to type in a command to get it to work. And just so you can see as well that I'm going to keep this above board and keep it vanilla, I'm going to type in /give BluJay diamonds times 1,000. It doesn't work because cheats aren't enabled in this world, okay? I used the console on NodeCraft, which, by the way, if you're looking for a server, NodeCraft is amazing. You should check them out. I got a link in the description below. But I used a command in the console on NodeCraft to get this ticking area turned on, and that's it. That's done. So this area is forever going to be loaded in the world, even if I'm far off in another direction. I discussed it with Prowl. He was cool with it. It's not going to affect anything on his side of the world, and I was monitoring while I was playing, and it does not really affect the performance of the world either, so we should be good to go. And this really is a last-ditch effort to keep this minecart storage system because I think it's so cool. I absolutely love the idea of it, and if I can get it working, if the ticking area will get this to work 100% of the time, it's gonna stay. If not, I might have a future stream project where we rip that apart as well and build something new in its place. But For now, the storage room is completely done, and in the next video, we finally get to get out of this dungeon and into the sunlight to build some fun new things. Hope you learned something new today, and I hope you had a little bit of fun. We'll see you next time.